What's going on, everyone? Hope everyone's enjoying their long weekend. I'm going to do a weekly close, and since I'm late in the day here, I think the markets were open last night, and I think they are coming to a close here soon. But I get to cheat a little bit on the weekly close update since the next week is already opened for the futures. Here's the weekly dollar. You can see the two-bar reversal, but got knocked out and rejected by the resistance on the upside. So right now it's gathering its legs. So far we've opened down this week, and you can see on a daily the little consolidation. Pretty nasty reversal bar here, but it came into support and reversed, and now we're sitting above our intermediate support lines, which is 34, 8, and 13. So it looks bullish from here as it's got the bullish retracement back into the 8. Look for previous high breaks on the dollar. But then again on the weekly, we did get rejected at resistance on the way back up. So we're in this little range, this previous range. We need to get above previous highs, 101.50, and stay above previous lows in and around 99.50. So there we go for the dollar. S&P has not stopped yet, and it looks like for the daily right now we're coming in on a triple top. We do have a reversal bar. Make sure that it's taken out on the upside. A slightly lower high on the daily. So price is in a pattern on the S&P. And you can see on the weekly that it's just it's going higher. Look for those double tops coming in after they close on their highs, and I would do the same for the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq. Pretty much the same stuff going on. It just hasn't looked back yet, so pretty bullish. Look for those reversal bars on the intraday. Let's jump to crude. Crude is trying to get outside that pattern still. Weekly close. Looks like we closed below the EMA 8 on a weekly. Let's see if it can bounce the first couple days of the week. Otherwise, it looks like momentum has died off. And on the daily, looks like you had a reversal bar coming in. Nice little hammer right there. We're above 34, but below the 8 and 13, so look for previous high breaks. Looks like we're working a double bottom now. After this nasty reversal, came down and made a double bottom. Did not touch the other side of the pattern. So is it double bullish? We'll see how we open. If it opens up and keeps going and didn't touch its natural course to return, I say it's double bullish. So let's see what happens with that. Coal. There's some very good news for coal miners, but no action so far on the index. And usually the story tells itself before the news. Pretty good news, putting coal miners back to work, but nothing so far on this index. Must be weighed down pretty heavily if that's going on, if there was no instantaneous bounce. Came down came into resistance, got backed off, but consolidated, closed above here, came down. So it looks like we got a closing of an inverted hammer. Let's see how we open up. It looks like a double bottom is forming. Got the 1, 2 bottom. See how we open up on coal. Seems pretty bullish since the coal miners are going back to work for Trump. So see what happens. You got the 10-year. So it looks like it's coming back into support. Let's see if it'll hold this time. The weekly close. Looks like a falling star. And it's a tiny wick down here, but it looks like that falling star action. So look for previous low breaks, as it looks like momentum might just bend right on over on a weekly if it keeps going down into support on the daily. Already closing below the 8 on a weekly. Now it's coming, if it keeps going the way it does on the daily chart, it looks like it's going to come back into support, which will mean on a weekly it'll be below the 13. So it just keeps on getting weaker and weaker, especially with those lower highs. Definitely closing below the 8 on a weekly, which is bearish. But it's out of hold support. See what happens on this one. It's like the Nikkei. Still holding support on a weekly. Below the 8. Let's see. Looks like a double bottom. Came outside the pattern, came into support. Look for previous high breaks, as it looks like a bullish retrace back into support on a daily. Shanghai, hasn't given up yet. Nice burst of energy there. Nice inverted hammer now. It's got a close on the upside. Looks like it did. It's confirming on the outside of the previous candle. So that, I guess that was just a nice big throwback. Broke previous highs and it took a ride all the way back up. Working off the pretty badass hammer down here on a weekly. Let's jump to gold. There we go, gold. Gold weekly went a little sideways last week. And not much going on so far. We're opening up for the week, but we need to break previous highs. And let's see. We've got a double top to take care of. But it would be a nice flat top break on that. Staying above 1220 is important. We got a nice hammer on here. Let's see a progression of this hammer. Previous high breaks into the next resistance line. Still bullish and running off of this support line hammer. Just a little bit sideways so far. Let's see if we can pick that up this week. Silver came into support and now it's bouncing back. We had a nice pullback last week. It did break previous high breaks last week and came back into support. So just a little blip across 18, came back into support. It dipped below and closed, looks like it closed right at support. And then, well, no, last week, confused myself because I'm ahead of time here. Last week's close was a little, just a spinning top, and it came across resistance and came into support, and now this looks like we're up and up. We're only 6 cents up for the week, We're definitely holding 18, which is awesome. Remember the 17 break. Now we're coming into the 18 break. 18 break, I think, is going to be explosive because we got to get that right shoulder in. So I'm going to see a pop across the 34 and come into support. Nice U, making that right shoulder. That's what I'm anticipating. Although anything could happen, and you should watch for previous low breaks back into support. Where the 8 and 13 are sitting. But if this can hold its strength, maybe just pop above and consolidate and get this thing rolling. Looks pretty good, looks healthy. Just hold previous lows. Hold them. Hold the line. Copper. Copper's coming back. Let's see if we can get everything running again. I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting. So far this week, copper, gold, and silver are up. So, could this be our week? I don't know. Let's look at those GDXs on the other platform. Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Look for previous high breaks on Bitcoin on the weekly charts. Holding the previous highs. It's well above the 8. It's pretty steep line, so I'm not sure if this thing wants to turn around. Support's going to hold very well. Definitely above previous highs. Previous highs, now we're building. Let's get above previous highs, 1075. And then we can go for the top. Looks like a nice cup and handle forming on that top pattern. So you can see previous highs. So it looks like previous highs at 1160. So we got $100 off of the mark. I imagine this big U is going to come up, make another high or a lower high, and then kind of lower high its way back on a little handle. Or this would be a nice, big, huge cup and handle. That would be awesome to see. Love to see that. I think that's it for indices, right? Let me know if there's any other indices that you can think of that we should be following. I can't get the Forex and the bonds. So exit those, but anything else you guys want to watch? I try to pick the ones that were most pertinent to what's going on out there, but hang on a second. Let me set up my MedVed trader, and we'll go over some miners. So, what do we got going on? Let's do the high volume ones. Hang on a second. Let me go rearrange some. All right, so I got a weekly, or I can change it back into a daily over here. I got a half-day chart here, half-day candles, and then I got a 34-day with a 3.5 average down here on my oversold, overbought situation. The Williams S, the William %R, kind of like it. And just for a relative strength indicator. So GDX, we're coming off a monthly bottom, as we all know. We're looking for previous high breaks on a monthly chart. We did break last month's chart, and right on this 34-day, it's going to look different than your monthly chart. But I wanted to match up my days with my my trend line, which is the SMA 34. So I have the same amount of days for my trend. So right here, I can see that it's very, very close to changing trend. on a long-term chart. So I like it. Now for dailies, for long-term, I love it. For dailies, anything could happen. The noise up and down on a daily chart is frequent, and what we're looking here is previous high break. Previous high break. So there we go. That's what we're looking for. Looks like we're coming into a double bottom right above the trend on the intraday. But you can see what the potential is. It can come all the way back down into support as always. So looking for a nice open this week. We're opening up this week on gold and silver, so I'm looking for an open up for tomorrow. Nugget, same thing. We had that nice pullback on Friday. I'm looking for a reversal since we're opening up. I'm looking here as a coming off of a very old oversold situation on Nugget. Nugget's kind of hard to see because the averages are all screwed up. But all in all, I'm looking for previous high breaks. And that next previous high break, making this a nice 3-bar pattern, is at 20. So it's got plenty of room on the upside from 12 to 20 previous high breaks. Now I'm looking for a bounce. It is a 2-bar reversal bearish, but it looks like it covered the gap and kept going into support, making this kind of stair-step diagonal right under the resistance line. So I'm looking for something to go above. On the daily, it looks bearish, coming off of an oversold situation. And a little bearish retracement here, bearish retracement here. I got to hold the line here. But we got lower highs here, but we got higher lows here. So we're in a pattern. Price is coming into a pinch, right? Trade outside the pattern. I'm thinking Friday was just a blip coming all the way back into support, scaring all the longs. But we'll see. JNUG, I got shooken out on the pullback. I wasn't carrying a lot of shares, but it was enough for me to pull out once it crossed the trend line on the intraday chart. And now we're working with a double top. The same with Nugget. Closed below the 8, coming off of an oversold situation. But the monthly's still long. Looking for previous high breaks. Nice long-term J curve coming in on JNUG. I'm thinking that they're just trying to shake out the longs on these, just like me. I got shook out on Friday. It was more of a let's wait and see it happens for the Monday open. AUI got crushed. It's having a lot of trouble, this one. Closing below the 34. Look for a bearish retracement. It was a breakdown on high volume, so it looks bearish from here, AUI. Can most certainly bounce. It did come all the way back down into support. We're still working with a nice reversal bar on the monthly. I'm just going to change this back to a monthly so it's less confusing. Prices in a pinch on the monthly. Definitely broke down. And I thought the Chinese bought like 65% of the stock, so it's coming off of an oversold situation, coming all the way back down. Now it's overbought, oversold. I'm way confusing myself. It's coming into a buy opportunity. Let's put it that way. CLF has got to hold the line. Came all the way back down into support on this daily chart. It's got a hold here. It's got plenty of room to come back down into support. The gap is nice support for the gap. We have a reversal bar here that came across the 8, kind of sideways action, bouncing off of support, which is the previous high. And let's see if we can get a continuation out of this. Monthly, the previous high has been broken, so I'm thinking bullish. We'll see what happens. Could be the throwback at 20 or 12. So it crossed 12 and then came back into support. Filled the gap. So let's see if we can get a churn out of this. Let's go to ABX. ABX long term has been pretty nice. Previous high breaks. It looks like on a daily we got a reversal. We're working with a double top now on the intraday. Coming back into support. Maybe that's just a throwback. We'll have to see. On with the volume. GDXJ has that double top looking on the daily too. Came back, threw it back really hard. Look for support lines. Look for previous low breaks. Held support, but it closed below the 8. It's got to hold the line of support. Got to take out that previous high double top. NAK, let's see how NAK is doing. Intraday, that looks like a breakdown, and then let's see what happens when it hits resistance through time. It's going sideways now. It does have a little higher low action. I'm thinking this is the left shoulder. It's going to make a spike down. And that would be a good opportunity for the monthly chart to buy back in. This first bounce on the down slope looks bearish. It's got a hold too. I'm thinking this is going to be a left shoulder, reverse head and shoulders, where this spikes down, makes a U, makes a right shoulder, and then continues onward and breaks this double top. But it's the first leg down. Let's see what happens when it hits resistance through time. KGC, you can see the monthly, still bullish, just a short-term throwback here. Let's see where it turns around. Hopefully we don't have to come all the way back into support, and this is bullish enough to keep going for the quick dip and then the continuation. It's got to hold previous lows. Got to close above previous highs. So it looks like a pinch is in. Got resistance on the way up and just a few lines holding it up. NGD. Looks like on the intraday, NGD came across support lines on the daily. And the intraday, let's see if we can continue this for the rest of the month as it blasts through that bad news information. See the volume on it? We had bad news somewhere in here and it just fell over. Now we got a series of higher lows and a flat top. So we'll see what happens. AG, it's down the line, looks bearish there. Looks like it got rejected here. Let's see if this is support or a continuation. It's coming into a oversold situation. So I'm hoping for a bounce, not a continuation. GG. GG. Looks like GG pulled back just a little bit. Plenty of room to come back down into support. Long term on GG is perfect. It's a pretty nice chart. We got a higher low, double bottom. We got a previous high break at 20, and it's going to be breaking the SMA trend line, long-term trend line. So far it's stuck at resistance on its first try. GFI, looks like a breakdown on GFI on a daily. Coming back into support. I don't want that one. There we go. GFI came across, and now it's consolidating over the 13 as the 8 comes across. So we'll see if support can hold on all of these. I believe uranium. Let's jump to uranium. URRE. Weekly chart came all the way back down into support. So I'm looking at this one for this week. I think it has potential for this week. Came all the way back down into support. Looks like pretty good support at 2 previous highs. Otherwise, if it comes back into the range, looks like all the way down to 180 and 160. So it's got to hold 2. Looks like a pop across the 34 came back into support initially on a daily. So I'm looking for a churn on this for this week. And the monthly, of course, on URRE, nice inverted hammer last month. So I'm looking for a continuation. Price can be stuck in between this inverted hammer for a while as it builds. But nonetheless, it's a long-term bullish reversal bar there. And then UEC, it was the other one that I like so much. On the daily, it closed a hammer. Nice hammer close. We're working with a double top here, so it's got to knock that out. And the monthly, it looks bullish. So nice little throwback after that breakout. So it looks like it's gathering its legs, put it in a nice bottom. Let's see it. Let's see if this opens up. I might have to buy back in. Never know. Let's take a look at AG. Looks like AG is having a hard time holding support on the intraday. Monthly, very well bullish on it. It's a nice U. It's come into support. Now it's trying to break previous highs. And for a daily, it just looks like a nice elongated stair step into support. It's got a hold. We've got previous highs here, which it broke. Yep, it broke below, closed below the previous high. So I'm looking at support at, what's that, 970 for a daily chart. Let's look at the weekly. Looks like just a throwback back into support because it did break. Let's see if we can catch support here sooner than later. It's breaking previous lows. Or it's just on a tether. Let's see if it'll hold 10 this week. Pretty important. Let's see a reversal on the intraday. GPL. GPL is going to be a nice previous high break. As it broke 34, came all the way back down into support. Now it's waiting to break previous highs. So everyone's got to set the alarm on this one. Monthly chart's going to break. Watch for the pop and watch for the throwback back into support on those kind of breaks. EXK. EXK's got that nice pop over the 34 back into support. Previous high breaks. Look for that on EXK. PVG. Same thing. Looks like it tried to break and got pushed back just a little bit. So watch for the next try. Looks like it has been consolidating back into support ever since that run into resistance. Went over that. Tahoe, I think Tahoe is ready. You can see Tahoe left shoulder. And now the consolidation right over the 8. Watch resistance at 13. Previous high breaks right over the 13. Pop. Monthly's coming off of a very, very oversold situation. Good, good, good. TGD. Looking for previous high breaks on this. It got rejected so far. It's gathering its legs. It's at support. 42.5 on up. Looks like a nice little break. Intraday we got lower high or higher lows. We are working with a double top, so we're going to take that out. 43. Looks like 43 is the mark. USLV. Looking for this one to pick up the pace. Looks like it's having trouble into previous lows. FFMGF. Definitely previous high breaks. Hope everyone caught a little piece of that last week. I think that's about it. I was mentioning TRX. I like that one for a previous high break. 60. It's at support. Someone mentioned you. Intraday had a top, came back into support. Look at that U coming in. Looks like it's holding support, previous highs on the weekly. I'm watching SVBL. It's a little penny stock, but it's the silver bull, man. I like the monthly. It's got rejected on the 34 plenty of times, and this is a nice little stair step into support, and we closed on the weekly a inverted hammer. So I'm going to be watching that one closely along with the other previous high breaks on the long-term charts. And I'm just going to keep it short and kind of end it there, see what happens. But hang on. Just to recap real quick, gold and silver are opening up. So far gold is up 3. Let's look on a shorter term. But it looks bearish in the short term, putting in a lower high, working a double top. So we'll see what happens when it comes back into support. See what kind of bounce we get, but right now on the 4-hour chart it looks bearish. And I think it's closed for now. Holding support on the hourly. Looks like a nice inverted hammer closed. See what happens, and then onward and upward to silver. Hourly silver looks awesome. You can see the break across the 34 back into support. Now it's bouncing right off of that support line. Nice. All in all, we're opening up on gold and silver so far. So let me know what's going on out there. Thanks for all the donations. It's absolutely wonderful. Helps out a lot, especially when I got to drink a lot of coffee every day. So think about buying me a cup of coffee if you're making money, and if you enjoy these videos. Otherwise, share, comment, and like, and let me know what's going on out there. I'll see you.